Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Changing Lives, hosted by me, Deonte Burden. This is our very first episode. Super excited and everything. With this show, Changing Lives, what we're going to be doing is getting a lot of information in regards to entrepreneurship, financing, parenting, family, pretty much anything that can help you as far as improvement. Um, Today, before we go too much into what we're going to talk about today, kind of give a little background information on me. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and also I have about 20 years of experience in the financial services industry, and have a very big passion about giving back to the community and doing different things as far as helping everyone. Um, when I decided to start this show, I know I had a lot of stuff in between my ears and a lot to give everyone. So I just wanted to use this platform, to help people do those things. So here we are right now on Changing Lives. Um, okay. With our first show, we'll be talking about getting out of your way. That's what I wanted to speak about in terms of getting out of your way. Right now, we're in November 2018. When you hit the beginning of the year, you're gonna have a lot of hysteria and euphoria. People getting their income tax check money, and everybody gonna be kind of enthused about, what I going to do. I'm gonna get this money. Hey, I'm about to start a business. I'm going to college. I'm gonna do all this and that. And what happens is, people have all this new money, euphoria, and excitement, but somehow they get slowed down and things change. And for some reason, they get out of that, and you talk to them by April or May. Well, now I'm gonna put it off for this, that, and that. And what I want people to just take account for, you need to just stay out your way. A lot of times, we have a lot of things that we can do in life that we are our own worst enemies. And when we sit there and think about the things that we could do, we hold ourselves back in terms of what we can provide for ourselves in life. When I say about getting out of your way, you sometimes we put off things that we think, hey, we can do later on, and we're not really able to do those things. We take for granted today. Just personally, I had a personal incident probably about 15 years ago. My best friend passed, and when it happened, we were all just young. You taking life for granted. Hey man, we're gonna do this next week, next year, and it shot me right then and there because like, hey man, tomorrow ain't promised to you. Next hour ain't promised to you. So the things that you're kind of putting off today, you don't for today for next week or tomorrow, you don't know if you're gonna be able to have that. So I wanted to share that with people in terms of what procrastination and things like that can do to a person. When we sit here and look at life, a lot of times we look at each day and say, what's attainable, what isn't attainable, and we kind of let our fears about tomorrow hold us back. When people sit there and think about what they want to do with their career and with their life, a lot of times, we put boundaries and borders up that don't necessarily need to be there. I tell people a lot of times, when you ride by the cemetery, you ain't necessarily looking at people that are deceased. You're looking at probably some of the greatest ideas that people never could take advantage of. When you see that, all some of your best ideas in the world were in the cemetery. People just never did put them into action. A lot of times we go through life and we think about, hey man, that's a good idea, that's a great idea, and do it. But we're so scared to put it in action, it dies with us. And then what happens a lot of times, you can think about a couple years later, hit you, and you see like, hey man, that's what I wanted to do, and I thought about that a couple years ago. And what people fail to realize, like, the ideas that you have aren't really the most original ideas. We think we're unique, but in all actuality, we aren't, and everything. And a lot of times, the people that are able to succeed in life are the people that just seize the moment at that particular time. When we go through life, a lot of times we sit there and we think about, what we want to be in a couple years, and we'll sit out here and just take our time and just be stuck in one place where we're thinking about, hey, I don't necessarily know, I know I want to be there, but I don't know what to do. And a lot of times, it's really just making that one decision to do it. Once you make that decision to do it, that's it. Because once you make the decision to do it, all your movements is going to be towards making that goal. The problem that comes up and that holds everyone back, and that's why I say stand in your way, that those movements may take you 6 months, it may take you a year, it may take you 2 years. But the thing you got to keep in mind is that in 2 years, if you don't put those things in place, will you really be there anyway? So those are things you need to kind of just think about. And when I say just stand in your way, we a lot of times don't really want to be, patient. And patience is one of the main things that we always want to just stay on top of. Because in order to be successful, you have to have a long-term plan, a long-term view on everything. And if you are expecting things to happen overnight, it's not going to happen. So you have to sit here and just make sure that you're looking at everything for being in a journey, not necessarily, something that happened just immediately for you. That's not how life works. And one thing I always want to make sure I'm telling people is that when we start looking at our life and what we want to be with everything in terms of our future, I ask people, like, are you comfortable with, letting someone else control your destiny, or you take care of it yourself? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't necessarily want to be, they want to say, I want to be my own boss, I want to do this and do that, but it's so frightening once you get into it and you maybe doing your own thing for maybe like a week or so, or doing that, and you start seeing all the things that come along with it, you quit. But the thing of it is that they're so empowering when you can be in control of your own destiny, when you can be the one in charge of what you want to do in life. That's the thing of that, will be more fulfilling with you, with life, with being able to do those things. One thing I want to push to people is just, number one, being able to dream. When you're able to dream and see yourself in a certain place and do the things you have to do to get to that place, that's what you want to be able to do in terms of that. When I bring about staying out of your way and everything, when I bring about staying out of your own way, I want people to realize that we're our own worst enemies sometimes. Okay? When you sit there and say to yourself, I'm tired of getting up every morning, I'm tired of going through life doing this and tired of doing that and everything, you have to understand that life ain't going to change for you. You the one got to change life for yourself. When we, get up every morning and we look at people that are successful and stuff like that, sometimes we just see their present state. And what we never do is never look at, what they had to do to get there. And when we don't stop for a minute, take into account to say, hey, I want to be there, and these are the steps I got to take to get there, that's what we all have to just start, being able to do to get ourselves in that particular place. As of right now, when you start thinking about things, and we start looking at the hurdles that we have to do to get where we want to be, you start getting fear. And fear breeds in action, and within action, you just won't go anywhere. So number one thing, again, you have to make that decision to want to be in a different situation. Once that decision is made, that's the most important thing about doing that. I want to talk about, just things that you want to try to accomplish. Just really setting down goals on a yearly basis, looking at what you want to do, and from that point, mapping out everything from there. Once that's done, you can sit down and say, well, let's start from the beginning. We want to talk about the goal setting. Okay, I recommend everyone, at the beginning of the year, just look at 10, 20 things that you want to do. Okay, once we do that, we say, okay, these are the things I want to do. First, let's sit there and say, okay, how long would that take me to do it? Will it take me a month to do it? Will it take me 6 months to do it? Will it take me a year? Take me a year and a half, 2 years? From that point, we can sit here and just try to make those objectives and goals to make it incremental to get there. When we do those things, I recommend that when you start setting those goals and getting that together, listing out how difficult it'll be there, and then from that point, sitting there and making everything incremental and attainable. Once those things have been made incremental and attainable, what I mean by that is, let's say I want to get a car, and we know the car costs $5,000. Let's say $6,000, and if we want to say I want to, be able to get that car at the end of the year, we have to be able to put in, say, $500 to the side for us to reach that goal. And that's what I mean by making goals, reachable and attainable. But number one, starting down, writing down those goals, what you want to do for your first, initially. And then writing down the timetable that you want to try to reach those goals. From that point, you can start seeing, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to put the wheels in motion. And then from that point, we can start getting everything going. Don't get discouraged about getting everything together. You just need to make sure that, you stay on track with everything with that. You're going to be in situations where everyone's not going to be able to see what you're trying to do, and you have to be able to be strong-minded enough to just stay the course, fight through everything, because when you try to do things that are against the grain or that may be against kind of being a little normal, it's easy to kind of get discouraged. It's easy to kind of get lost or get down sometimes when things aren't going your way and everything. But I really challenge everybody to always believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, nothing else can let you down and everything.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When they get discouraged, what do you suggest? Like me, like this small business we got going here with this podcast and the radio station. I say to myself every day, I quit. I'm done. I'm done with it. I quit because it's just like it's not moving quick enough. So like I'm getting discouraged with it. Mm-hmm. So how do you stay focused on that? How do you believe you stay focused on that?
Well, we stay focused is, like I said initially, once you write down what you want to do, you write it down. And again, when we write that down, that's a plan. And we always got to keep in mind plans change. So there's nothing concrete. But if you write down exactly what you want to do, and you have to be realistic, we're in something called life. And life isn't concrete. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. You can get up, like you said, the business is going, and hey, we're working on this deal. You get that call in the morning, you just, and hey, listen, hey, we can't approve the loan. The loan can't get approved. And you've been setting out for months getting into it. And now if you've been sitting, thinking about your plan, hey, look, that ain't going. Listen, I need to kind of go to plan B, whatever, or try to go to your next path for doing it. With the, again, bring back again, this is Deonte Burden with Changing Lives. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, we're streaming live on the YouTube channel. We're also streaming live on Facebook and Instagram as well. But going back to that, that's a good question. When we talk about being discouraged, and one word that a lot of people don't have, and it's confidence. A lot of times when we start talking about confidence, we have to be realistic about certain things, and that's what you can do and what you can't do. When you're for sure what you can do, and you know how to do it, and you know how to do it, and you feel you can do it better than anyone else, that's confidence in knowing what you can do. And if you believe in yourself, there's nothing in this world can take you apart from that, because when you have setbacks and bad things happen, those are just setbacks. They're just a bump in the road. I just ran over a pothole. I just ran out of gas. I'm going to put some more gas in the car. Those just it. But if you believe in yourself, that doesn't deter you from anything. So at number one, it comes with believing yourself. And you have to understand, that you're not going to always be in a situation where everybody's going to pat you on the back and say, come on, girl, come on, boy, you can do it. I believe in you. That's not going to happen. And you shouldn't expect to have a lot of cheerleaders. That doesn't mean your family and your friends are not going to believe in you. But what it does mean is that you have to believe in yourself, period. Because the way you see the world and the way everybody else sees the world, totally different. That doesn't mean they think you're crazy. I can speak for myself. I've been very fortunate enough. I've never felt that I didn't have a supportive friends or supportive families. But I can tell you this. I know when I speak and I do things, my friends and family don't necessarily see it the way I do. And what I mean by that is I say, hey, man, I want to go start this. I want to do this. They never say, man, you crazy, or that wouldn't work, something to discourage me. But they just like, okay, cool, man, that's good. And that's just it. And I'm cool with that because, again, that's my vision. That's what I see, and that's what makes me me, and that's what makes you you. You're not always going to be fortunate enough to get cheerleaders. And I think a lot of times people get, feeling a certain way. Well, my family support me or this, that, and that. It's not for them to support you. Now, of course, everybody wants to get, words of encouragement and everything, make anybody feel good. But if you have a dream and you have goals, that the willingness to be in a certain place and the willingness to do certain things supersedes everything. So that's one of the main things, I want everybody to pull from that in terms of when you get discouraged or feel down about a certain thing. Again, please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Changing Lives, hosted by Deonte Burden. We're streaming live right now. Another thing that I want people to, when we start talking about standing your own way, being able to see yourself in a certain place. When a lot of, when we go through life, we get comfortable real quick when things are going okay for us. And when you are being in a situation, everything's going pretty good for you, you don't think that, hey, man, this is it. And, we don't need to do anything like that. We don't need to, I don't need to rock the boat, or I don't need to try to progress or anything like that. What happens is the things you can't control is what throws everything off the track. That's when we have, downsizing. That's when we have restructuring. That's when we have companies closing. That's when we have companies moving. That's when you have supervisors come in, they don't like you. And you've been sitting there like like a little fat rat, just really just mooching and just going through the motions. And what didn't happen? The world done passed you up. And that's why I say it's super important. You can't get comfortable in life. You can't sit here and wait for things to happen for you. And, the way you want the world to go and the way the world's going to go is two whole different things. So that's why it's super important that you're always pushing yourself to do other things. That don't necessarily mean you got to, if you cool where you at, that don't mean you got to be plant supervisor or running the operation, in a couple years. But you need to be putting yourself in a situation, regardless, that you're going to be progressed. Because what people fail to realize is that you always can make money. You always can be successful, But the problem that comes from it, you don't have to look for work for that. What you got to do is make sure you're adding value to yourself. Because when you got value to yourself, and going back to we just getting in our own way, you put yourself in a situation where you're always going to be wanted. when you go to an assembly plant and you see everybody on the line, all of them can put that tire on the truck. Ain't no different from them. We can go on the street and then get somebody else. But the guy that specializes in putting those certain divots on the tires and putting certain bolts on there and stuff like that, he's a commodity. Why? Because only he can do that. And a lot of times we get comfortable because the group, we all chilling and everything. But you don't live for the group. They start downsizing. They, got 5 people on the line. 4 can stay, 1 got to go. Shoot, they just might flip a coin. And they don't care about it. They ain't worried about your family. They ain't worried about what you got going on. So that's why I say you got to make sure that you're adding value to yourself. You're adding worth to yourself, just when in life and period. Because when you look back to our election we had a couple years ago, what was one of the main things that everybody was pushing with everything? We want jobs. We want jobs. We want jobs. And because people act like they couldn't even do anything, they were just going crazy about somebody creating a job for them. We, got our current president because one of the biggest things he pushed. He can bring jobs. He can bring jobs. At the end of the day, I always felt that that's very scary when you can put your, destiny in other people's hands. I think God made all us unique, and I think that we all have a certain talent that we can bring to the table. And so many people are so afraid to use those talents because those talents might be different. They might be looked at funny. So I don't want to try that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to stay in my safety zone with doing it. And that's why you had so many people going crazy, crying, grown folks. We need this, we need this, we need to do this job. That ain't the only thing you can do. Now, again, that's where we get uncomfortable. You might have to move. You might have to relocate. When you look at how the economy went from when NAFTA was originally signed and you had all those jobs in the Midwest moving to South America and moving to Mexico, all those plants and stuff like that. So you had everybody in the Midwest, Detroit, Milwaukee, maybe Illinois, they were just losing all these factories and these plants and folks going crazy. What's happening? What's happening? We're losing all our jobs. But what happened was, now we became a transportation hub. So that whole Eastern Shore board, even those Gulf states and even on the West Coast, we became more transportation hubs. So those jobs were paying $100,000 in the plants in the Midwest shifted to the coast. Now they're paying $100,000 for a guy to do a forklift and crane unloading the boats and stuff. So my only point is, and that goes back to probably 50 years prior to that, when you had the plants in the Midwest came. That's when everybody from the South moved up to the Midwest because of the factories and all that kind of stuff. Again, things change, things evolve, and you're looking at right now where we're headed to now with the transportation. You probably talking about next 5-10 years. I don't even think these tractor trailers and these Supermax boats I think they're gonna be driven by computers and stuff. So I don't even think that's going to be something that's around. And even the factories and plants that people saying they want the jobs, I mean, that's not the same. The job that it took 30 or 40 people, where your daddy, your uncle, or granddad all work that same factory. I mean, you only got 2 people working there, and they working machines. So I hope I gave you some information in regards to staying out your way and everything. I have a lot more information on the website. On the YouTube channel, where we do a lot of pushing other videos that are similar to it and everything. So please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Changing Lives YouTube channel. Right now, I kind of want to spin off into a finance tip. So each show, I'm going to either give a finance tip or a business tip. And this tip right here, it spins off from the Jobs and Tax Act from December 2017 that President Trump had signed into effect. And I know a lot of people know it was signed, but they really don't know the gist of it, And I know one thing that a lot of people probably haven't been aware of. Well, I know you've been aware of this. You probably got a little bit more money, or maybe a lot more money on your paycheck, and it's not really even, kind of in proportion to just say a raise you got. And that's pretty much everybody. And if you have noticed that, hey, it's a lot more, I'm getting more money on my check and everything like that. That's because with the Jobs and Tax Act, they changed the tax tables and the withholding tables. So what happened is, excuse me, you have a lot. They changed the tax bracket and the withholding tables, where people, for a dollar amount that you were getting last year and you had to pay a certain proportion of taxes, when you normally take a job and you feel like you're W-4 and you tell them if you're going to be single or married or head of household, and they take a certain proportion out, what happened, those percentages will change with the Jobs and Tax Act. So in actuality, you're getting less tax from where you're W-4 if you did single 2, married 4. You're getting less taken out right now on that paycheck. So, in essence, it's done what it's done. You got more people bringing home more money. You got people spending more money in the economy, and more things are getting done. So in theory, it did work. Here's going to be the problem with everything, because the withholding amount, the taxable amount didn't change. So what's going to happen is, say if you had to pay, for easy explanation, if you made $5, and as of the year before last, before the tax act was signed, if you made $5, you may have had to pay $3 in taxes. Typically, if you during the year, if you paid $3, you didn't owe. If you paid $4, you got a refund. If you paid less than that, you owed. What's happening now is, with that same $5, you're probably you still have to pay the same amount of taxes, but most people have paid probably $1 in the taxes. So what's going to happen is, a lot of people are going to see smaller refunds and possibly be owing in taxes this coming up tax season. So my suggestion to everyone is, you got 2 more months left in the year. Meet with your HR. Make sure you talk to them about adjusting your W-4. There's a website, dinkytown.net. Again, that's dinkytown.net. They have like a payroll pay tax calculator. You can put in your current wage and put in your withholding amount to see if you've paid enough in proportional taxes so far this year. And that way you can kind of be on top of that. But make sure once you do that, you also touch base with your HR person to, if you have to make any kind of adjustments, for the last 2 months of the year. I understand everybody's situation is different, but if you can be uncomfortable for the next 45 days, I would do that as opposed to trying to recover and pay the IRS all kind of money next year. And trust me, that's some people you don't even really want to deal with. So I hope that finance tip in terms of how the Job and Tax Act has affected everybody's pay this year, because I think that's something universal with a lot of people are probably seeing more money on their check. So it's a good thing, but it's one of the things you got to kind of stay on top of to understand exactly why that's happening. For more tips like that, you can, again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Changing Lives, hosted by me, Deonte Burden. And our website is coming soon. We're still in the process phase, getting that taken care of, but hopefully by the middle of December, we'll have that taken care of. Next thing we want to talk about is parents, something near and dear to me, dealing with parents and parents getting assistance with their children. And a lot of times, as parents, we have kids, we take it very personal, because I listened to a guy on TV the other day. He was like, when you see kids, that's a direct reflection of how they've been raised or anything like that. So with our kids, that's kind of like our badge of honor. They do well. They do well in life, and we sometimes take that where that's something that we probably should have we probably put more into it than we did, because we do probably take more credit for our children than we're supposed to. So with that, a lot of times people have issues with their children, and they'll get a call from the school, or they'll see certain things happen, and they get embarrassed by it. And you got a call here, and then you got to leave from work there, and you got to do that, and everybody's coming down on you and stuff like that. And I want people to understand, you don't be embarrassed about getting help with your kids. That's something you don't want to let get out of hand, because you can sit here and say that I don't really have time to miss work or do this stuff for my kids. It'll get to a certain point, you ain't gonna have no choice. You're gonna have to leave work to go get your kid from school because they done got suspended, and you might have to go get them out of jail or go to court for them. So those one of the things that you have to make sure that you just can't let get out of hand. I deal with a lot of organizations with giving my time back. I've been a youth football coach for 17 years, and one thing that I always try to push on the kids is accountability. And accountability, I think personally, is probably a learned trait. Some things we're born with, some we ain't. You have some natural leaders, but I think a lot of times kids are taught accountability, and we're being taught how to be accountable. You have to have some example of when you need to own stuff. And as a parent, those are the kind of things you have to do. When you're dealing with the school system or certain things with your children, you're going to have probably easy options. And easy options a lot of times may be moving them in another class. Sometimes that's probably simple. Or maybe, hey, we want to list them in this class. We may want to prescribe this medicine or something like that. A lot of times kids may need that. I get that part. But a lot of times, mom and dad don't want to get bothered at work. And that's the easiest thing to do. So when we have children, and parents have to realize that, look, your life is not over, but you got to be prepared to sacrifice, your time for your child now. You can't sit here and say, well, look, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, you got to sit here and make sure your child's squared away first. You want to make sure, your life is fine. But trust me again, your life going to be a whole lot more worse if you don't try to get on top of that. Your child is just like a pipe. If it's leaking and you see it dripping, it ain't going to stop dripping because you just walked away from it. That leak going to get worse and worse and worse. And you might put a Band-Aid on it. After a while, going to slip through that Band-Aid. You might try to put some duct tape on it. After a while, that duct tape is going to start dripping through that. Until you fix it, it's going to get worse. So certain things like that you just can't avoid and everything. And a lot of times the most difficult part with that is what's going to take the most thing to fix with your child is time. And we're very quick to say what we don't have in terms of time. I can't afford to do this. I got to do that. Nah, you got to make time. You got to make time. And that's one that I think is most difficult and one of the most fulfilling things for a parent to do is be able to get that time. Because, of course, it's very rough for us to see our children have challenges in life, but it's super, super great to see them when they have successes, especially when you know that you've been a big component in that, some of the sacrifices that you've made, and you've seen a lot of that stuff come to fruition. So as a parent, that's one of the things we want to make sure that we're able to give that time up. When you seek help from people, there are a lot of people out here that are going to tell you things that you don't want to hear, and that's just a part of life. I think I've been okay in business because I really saw that advice, and I definitely can tell you I ain't always hear everything I want to hear. And it's going to be the same, but that the person, I don't necessarily say they're speaking out of love, but you want to know, you want honesty. And so a lot of times when we go to people to talk about our kids, about, hey, I think, this should be going on, or I think, this might be the issue, or, they doing this well in school because they didn't sleep. You tell the people at the school or whoever the person that you may be speaking with in terms of your child, be prepared to hear something you don't want to hear. Be prepared to hear something that's going to hurt your feelings. Not they talking bad about you, in their eyes they telling you the truth. Because no parent wants to feel like they're doing something wrong. No one wants to feel at fault for their child's behavior, you know. But even with that said, you know, not to even spin off one thing, parents, you have to understand one thing: your child does have a brain. You can do everything for them. They're gonna do what they want to do. They're not a puppy. They're not a robot. You know, you can have 5 kids and 4 of them are great, and that one, he just a plumb damn fool. And there's nothing you can do or say to change it. It's just how that is. And we can overthink stuff. Well, maybe he needs this, or maybe he didn't have that. Shit, he just hard headed. And ain't nothing you can do. And it has nothing. It goes back to what I just said. With parents, we get the blame for too much stuff we didn't have nothing to do with, just like we get credit for stuff we didn't have to do with it. Some kids just damn smart. They can look at all the spelling words and remember it. They ain't get that from you. So, but you go in there and they got all their awards and you feeling good.
Oh, you crushing dreams. You crushing dreams now, Deonte.
I ain't crushing dreams. I ain't crushing dreams. That's another show. That's just everybody makes straight A's in elementary school. That just as long as you can color in the lines and stay in and stand in the line straight when you got to pee, you gonna get an A. You know, so everybody gonna get that sticker. But parents just understand that when we start reaching out to people, be prepared for that. You know, been a youth coach for years, and I have a lot of times parents that come to me, hey, Coach Burden, I want to talk to you. You know, I think this and that's supposed to happen. And shit, I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I don't. And you know, well, what if you think this? What if you think we can do this? I think he need to play that. I don't think he can. Don't mean he can't at all. But at this particular point in time, no, he can't. And that's a hard pill to swallow for parents and stuff like that. You know, but even with, and I'm the type of person that's fair enough. Look, we'll try that experiment. You know, and if I know it's just totally inevitable, no, we're not going to do that. But that's just how that is. And you go through the same thing with your job. You can tell your supervisor, look, I've been working hard. I think that, you know, I've learned these skills and I want a $5 raise. You say, no, I don't think so. I don't see what you see. Shit, you just say, hey, that hurt, don't it? Hey. But that's how.
All your effort in that thing.
You coming out with a real "I have a dream" speech.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, hey, I already have it in. And you like, no. Hey, been there, done that. So be prepared for that. Let me say this. I'm not a medical doctor, so, and I think it's a case by case. So I don't think it's fair for me to say, you know, kids giving pills and they don't necessarily need it, because you got some kids that are, you know, and people, we have chemical imbalances in our system, and what I do think that option is given too quick. Yeah. You know, that's the thing about it. I think it's ignorant, you know, just, you know, to say, hey, you know, because a lot of times people, that boy don't need this, he need a belt. And he may be something chemically off, you know, and everything. Even as we get older as people, you know, we sometimes might get insomnia. We might get, you know, and it's just, you know, natural. We can't control that. Same thing with kids and stuff. Some people, and even like sometimes they say a kid is hyper, but their brain is moving so fast and everything. We say, hey, they need to get challenged, but they might not be dealing with people that are even capable of dealing with that mind. You know what I mean? So I just think that option is given too quick. And I think when that option is given with threats to the parents, kind of stern ultimatums to the parents, as opposed to options. And what I mean by the ultimatum is, well, if we need to do this, we're gonna have to move him to this school. If we don't do this, so might have to keep him back. As opposed to options where several things have been told to you. You know, in terms of, you know, a parent has, you know, several things to choose from with that. You know, again, the show is Changing Lives, hosted by Deonte Burden. Please go to the YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe to. We got a lot of good information there as well. now I want to roll to something with parents with seeking help. Once you get the help, okay, this is one of them things that probably like a pet peeve of mine, and anybody knows me, I've been dealing with probably everybody else's kid for the past 20 years. When people, a lot of times, they want folks to fix stuff. And so they put the kids, getting a mentor, let's go to Big Brothers, call the coach, we're going to get a male figure. We're gonna get somebody in there stern and everything like that. And they drop the kid off like they at the car wash, and I come back 30 minutes, 40 minutes later and want you to fix it. So even with that mentor, they can talk to them and give them, some advice and stuff like that. And just like at a car wash, you come back 30, 40 minutes later, y'all have fun, pick your baby up, y'all have fun, good. Get back, girl, yeah, I got one of the Big Brothers and shit. I just, I let them deal with it because I know, like, that's my day to get my hair fixed because, I dropped him off, with his big brother or his mentor. And you need to understand, that ain't what that shit for. That's mentors and help is just that, to mentor and help. They cannot fix. We can, I'm just trying to think in terms of, just say if you got something structurally wrong with your home or with your car, you can just say the bearings on your car, they kind of shake it, whatever. You can put new tires on, but the bearing's still going to be off. And unless a parent is going to make that commitment with all that help, ain't nothing going to work. And a lot of times people, so to go back to what I was saying before time, that person is a mentor. That person is to help your child. That person is not a damn magician. And it's nothing that a person can fix seeing your child for 30 minutes to an hour once a week that can knock out what you done did in 14, 15, 16 years. It ain't gonna damn happen. So we got to be realistic with that. So when you do get that help, make sure you're working with them. So it's things that y'all can kind of plan to do. If that person may be touching base with your child, listen to what they got to say. A lot of times people say, well, they need that, but then when that person tells you, like, look, a kid ain't got a behavior problem, kid got a damn rule problem. It's not that the kid just missing something. He missing this and missing that in his life. Now he needs structure. Or she needs to be told no some damn times. When they have that bad behavior at school, these corrective measures need to be going in place and stick with it. Of course, I understand no mom or daddy want to see their baby crying. We don't want to see our kid hurt or whatever. Excuse me, but again, I'd rather see their ass crying instead of me having to miss work or miss some money, try to fix their behavior. So, we have to be prepared to be uncomfortable with getting things taken care of with our kids. And what you don't want to have happen is when those people come to help you in life, you run them off, because they feel like they were taken advantage of, or they were, taken for granted, and everything. Because again, and trust me, I'm speaking from personal experience with doing this. I'm not just shooting from the hip with that. A lot of times folks, they want certain things from you and they forget that they are a parent. That parent job is a 24/7 job. None of us has to be here and everything. And whatever situation that your child has had, the child's missing mama, child missing daddy, we know one thing, they there. And we can't push them back. Sometimes we may want to, but they're there. And while they are there, we have to do what we have to do to make sure we can try our best that they'll be okay. But again, going back to knowing your child, when so much is put into what the kids, what the kids are in life and where they're getting there, we sometimes forget that decision making is permanent, regardless of the age. And what I do think people have to do is teach your child, how to make proper decisions, how to sit and think things through. Now that comes with a couple of things. Putting your child in a situation where they have to make decisions for themselves, putting them in a situation where they all gonna have to bump their head. I know one adage is sometimes you gotta let them fall. I'm I don't necessarily know about letting them fall. I'm kind of cool with letting them trip up because a lot of times, if you're an involved parent, your child fall, hell, you got to fix the fall. And when you fixing them falls get kind of damn expensive. So they trip up and they learn from it and stuff like that. That's fine. But groom your child to be prepared on how on how to make proper decisions in life and everything. One segment of the show that I wanted to kind of bring up, and I had pulled these out, is my cigar of the week right here. I have a Padron Maduro Robusto. I'm a big cigar lover and everything, so I got this in my scotch. So this will kind of keep me level-headed with everything. And but I just want to introduce different cigars and everything each week while we're doing the show. And kind of closing out, I want to kind of bring everybody full circle on a couple things. It's kind of funny we're talking about kids. I went to a youth football championship game this past Saturday. It was an awesome game. My nephew had a game, and I was just amazed with the talent that was on the field. Real live game. But I do want to just bring up what was happening in terms of the adults. We've probably had in the past month a lot of youth league adults acting a damn fool, and believe you me, it was as is this weekend. And I kind of put on my YouTube channel. I was amazed. I seen a man cursing with women, telling them to shut the F up. And I seen that same man telling another man shut the F up. Then I seen other women telling each other to shut the F up. It was another woman came off the sideline arguing with other women, telling them to shut the F up. And I'm sitting there, remember, I'm been coaching rec ball for 17 years. Everybody acting like, this shit was normal. I'm just sitting here like, what's going on? And it took away so much from the game, and it was so disappointing. Well, people got to understand something, too, and this is going back to dealing with these kids. Our kids look at what we do more than what we say. And you can sit here and get around people, and even as coaches or adults, be disciplined and do this, do that. But you act a damn fool. They see you acting a dang fool. If you're a person with integrity and you do things the right way, you work hard, your kids see that, and they'll act on that. But they see you always cutting corners. They see you trying to finesse people. They see you always doing things the wrong way. They're going to go towards that. And you got to be realistic with that. That was very disappointing to see the behavior I seen out there in those stands. Now, overall, it wasn't nothing crazy with the kids going on the field. The kids, it was two disciplined teams and everything. But the issue comes up, the coaches don't raise them kids. Them kids got to go home. And them some wild ass mom and dad as I seen out there. And what they were, I think 11 and under team. They're probably right at middle school and get ready to go into the school system. And they're going to have a difficult time because when you start dealing in the school system, coaches ain't going to have them conversations with you. So that was one of the things I think we need to kind of check ourselves and check your friends about those type of things going forward. In closing, something I want to bring up that's very near and dear to me, as far as us dealing with us. I'm talking about black folks and everything. I've seen a lot of brothers, especially a lot of dynamics in terms of, getting together. And I'm on a lot of different organizations. We got a lot of great minds. We get together and we get to talking a lot of times. And what I want everybody to think about as far as what we want to accomplish going forward, we're dealing in groups and, making our community better. We have to learn how to work with each other. We got to learn to talk with each other. We have to learn to agree to disagree, because they have too many times that you have all these meetings. I see the celebrities and I see the people with, supposed to have, quote unquote, have all the money. They making these decisions, and it's so much groupthink. And that's not how the world think. The way I think is the way I think. The way another person thinks, that's the way they think. And you have to be mature enough to agree to disagree. But we also got to have one goal. If the goal is to get the community in a better place, regardless if he think this way, and regardless if he thinks this way, and regardless I think this way, the goal is the goal. Okay? And we have too many times that we can't get together behind closed doors and get stuff together because we're not mature enough as men or people to sit here and just put personal stuff to the side. So this is a challenge for all my brothers out there, going forward, especially now and getting ready to enter in 2019. Let's work. We're trying to keep an open mind with dealing with each other. We have those goals of making our communities better and everything like that. Let's be able to work together and put personal stuff to the side, because a lot of times we're doing too much of the same stuff. We're gonna tutor, gonna do this and do that. That ain't working. No, that's not changing stuff. We gotta do some stuff that's dynamic. We gotta do some stuff that's different. We gotta do some stuff that's gonna make people very, very uncomfortable. Now I'll be sharing a lot of my thoughts in the coming weeks in other shows. So I want you guys to make sure you're tuning in. Also, please subscribe to the channel and share it. Let your friends know about it. Let them know about the show. I'll be every Thursday. We're going to take next week off because, I know everybody want to eat turkey, and I do too. So, but definitely, please subscribe to the channel. Follow the show. I got a lot of information in between my ears that I want to share and help people with. So I hope you enjoyed my first show. Please give me feedback and tell me what you feel. If you got questions or different topics you want us to look over, please feel free to send it to me. And I thank all you guys for tuning in. Again, this is Changing Lives hosted by Deonte Burden. Take care of yourself, everybody.